is down. Joining us, Ashley Webster, Elizabeth McDonald, Brian Bremberg and Scott Martin. All right, Scott, you first. I think the tax deal is coming together. There's certainly progress on it. Is that good for the market?
It's great for the market, Stuart. I mean, you look at the markets kind of languishing in the last few months, and that's because of the lack thereof tax reform or tax cuts. So if you see some sort of bipartisan agreement here, I think you got another, say, 200 points in the S&P to the upside because of the fact that we are long overdue for this, and it looks like Trump's going to get it.
OK, look, you're an economist, you're not a market watcher, but I suspect that the tax cut deal in the offing is good for the market.
Yeah,
and you say what?
It's good for the market. I don't think it's that great for the economy, though. The language you've been hearing around no tax cuts for the rich. So, yeah, the market's going to be OK. Long-term economy, not as big of a deal.
If you get a 15% corporate tax rate, 15%, that's good for the economy.
Yeah, I like that, but I don't like the tone where we're saying that tax cuts for the rich are no good for the country. Democrats are winning the war of ideas here, and that's a very bad thing.
That's your point, Liz.
Yeah, that's my point. Why are the Democrats the loudest voices in the room when they've smashed GDP growth, they've smashed small business creation? Listen, Oprah Winfrey was poor, and now she's rich. So is Steve Jobs. So is Larry Ellison. The rich and the prosperous don't do that at the stake because they're ruining the poor. They get up. There's income mobility. And that's why you need those jobs to pay for all of Bernie Sanders' big government spending.
So tax cuts for the rich will be really good. And don't listen to the demagoguery from the left.
Yes, the Republicans need to get better at politics.
Absolutely.
OK, we're looking now at a headline from the Wall Street Journal, the editorial board. Here it is. Americans get richer. Now, this article talks about how last year, real median income, household income, up 3%. 2.5 million rose out of poverty. Looks like good news to me, Bremberg.
I'm going to say the same thing to you I said last week, which is great news, 5 years too late, and we've got nothing going forward that's really going to meaningfully pick that up, and that's what we really need. So it's fine news, but the question is going forward, and I don't see what's going to be driving wages going ahead, especially with this talk of a small tax cut.
All right. Well, what do you say, Scott Martin? It looks like that's a pretty good story to me. It looks like not exactly prosperity, but things are looking up.
Yeah, I mean, better late than never. You got to start somewhere. And if we get these tax cuts or any kind of tax reform, that's going to push wages higher, which is what we obviously all want to see. So I think a deal here on taxation is a great thing for wages going forward, especially in 2018.
And we need to come back to what small business is doing. It's the lifeblood of this economy. And they have been expanding their hiring, and now they're rapidly expanding on their capital expenditures. Two very good signs.
Which they went upside down under Obama.
Yes,
right?
this is correct.
That's my point.
The market did just turn around, and it's back down again just a fraction. I'm going to say flat, dead. No, all right, up a quarter point. We'll take it. Amazon, let's look at that. It was very close to $1,000 a share. It's planning a big warehouse in Mexico. All right, Scott, would you buy Amazon right here, $9.95?
All day long, Stuart. I tell you, those that missed Amazon's run up to, say, about 1,030 or so was the high, you got a chance here to get in a little bit sub 1,000, which I believe is a great value for this company going forward. I mean, provided that you have, say, a couple-year time horizon here because of the growth that they've got coming down the pike, Amazon is value at 1,000.
Well, you're nodding your head, Brian.
No, I'm with him. It's a winner-take-all world. Amazon is leading in that world. Every story we're going to talk about today has an Amazon implication, which is why you buy them right here.
Oh, I got it. OK, we're down 6. That's it. We're 4 minutes in. Pretty flat, I would say. Down 6, down 8. 22. Look at that. 22,150. Come on. All right.
Come on.
I mean, really?
Yes.
We're fiddling around with, minus 7,
yes,
minus 12. So what? 22,151.
Who would have thought that?
We're not fiddling.
Who would have thought? I mean, really, who would have thought?
He doesn't even have his agenda enacted, and look at that.
Yeah, you go back to November the 9th, the day after the election, we were at 18,100. Did you ever dream that we'd be at 22,100? I've got the producer in my ear here telling me he saw it all coming.
Right,
right. Okay. All right, I'm done with checking the big board. Now I want to go to Delta. You can borrow Delta miles on your American Express card. Interesting. Here's how it works. If you only have, say, 50,000 miles and your trip is going to cost you 100,000 miles, you can borrow the 50,000 that you don't have on your American Express card, and you pay it back over a period of time by using the American Express card. I like the sound of that. American Express up, Delta down. AT&T offering a free iPhone with the purchase of another for customers who also subscribe to its direct satellite service. Apple's at $158 still, no change AT&T. Now, Equifax, big story, much in the news, down big this month after that massive data breach. This morning, down another 3%, nearly 4%. You're back at 95. It was way over 100. I can't remember exactly where. Was it 120, 130, 140?
They've lost about 30% of their market value in 1 week.
That's a hit. You've got it right. Then we have Tenet Healthcare. They may sell themselves. Investors like it. Stocks up nearly 4% at 16. I got it. Okay. I got to talk Olive Garden. I know this is not a big deal financially. I understand that entirely. I'm told this is a cultural culinary story.
Who's telling you all of this?
It's a big deal financially for me. Come on.
All right, let me get a word in edgewise here, can I? Darden's Olive Garden is bringing back the never-ending pasta pass. As I understand it, you pay $100 and you can have as much pasta as you like, whenever you like, for the rest of the year. And that, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, is popular.
These things,
Renberg.
my understanding is this sells out in like a second.
Yes,
Literally
it did. In 1 second. It sold out in 1 second.
Wow.
You would buy it?
Sure.
Why?
Because Olive Garden's great. I love it. It's fine Italian cuisine.
Butter, oil,
I'm just saying that to
pasta,
get
what's not to
Justin
love?
Minato, your producer, upset.
The only way it makes sense is if you go frequently and order a doggy bag. So you take back home your vast
Right up
supply
your alley.
of pasta.
And
No, it
feed
is
the
not.
neighborhood.
Scott's taking his sweatpants out of retirement.
Can you
by
see
the way.
Scott Martin? He's
I'm telling
in
you
the
guys,
back of the picture
you
there.
got to go like twice a day to make up for the cost. I mean, come on, how much is that pasta
Come
for
with
real?
me. Come with me, Scott. You and Stuart.
Just
lunch and dinner.
Today,
That's
all right,
producer
I'll be
just-
there.
Wait, quiet, please. The producer just told me there's no such thing as a doggy bag. You can't pile it all into a doggy bag. You know? Have it, wrap it.
Challenge accepted.
Can't do it.
And I'm not buying it.
Can't do it. Now, let's get serious. The former chief of Citi says 30%, 1/3 of all banking jobs will be wiped out in 5 years. I can get with that. Have you been into a local bank branch? There's nobody there.
Nobody.
We all do online banking.
Yeah, and younger generations particularly, nobody's there. I think this is good. This means that the world is changing in ways that are good for consumers, and banks have to adapt and workers have to
You know what those
adapt.
jobs were? The vegetative universe of Dodd-Frank and bureaucrats dealing with the government. It's compliance. Instead of loan officers, it's compliance officers. You know, I think that's good. It's getting productive assets back to work again.
Trouble is, these banks, they're all left with all these branches, real estate, and nobody's going.
That's
they don't
right.
need them, and they don't need the staff in those branches either.
That'll be good for bodegas. For real estate.
Okay, back to that. Scott Martin, do you have any opinion on banks dropping 30% of their jobs?
It's good for financials, Stuart. I mean, we own financials. This will help cut their bottom line down. I mean, look at least improve the bottom line and help with the top line, too. Because if you go into a bank these days, you're right. I mean, you got, what, a couple people working there, and all the tellers are gone. So, therefore, the overhead is a lot less.
Let's not forget, we hit all-time highs yesterday on 2 of the big indicators, the Dow Jones Industrial Average included. So any gain today, if it's there at the close of business, is yet another record high. The umpteenth of the year. I don't know how many it is. What is it, 20 or 30 or something?
4,000.
Extraordinary.
It's really high.
Yeah, give me a big number. Uh-oh, cable companies. One research firm expects a 22% increase in cord cutting this year. Scott, I know you've been on this before. You're not surprised at all, are you?
No, I'm not. And this is why you got to like companies like Netflix, Stuart, because they'll be a direct beneficiary. I mean, cord cutting's been going on for quite a while now, and it's picking up steam. So you got to watch for some of these cable providers, but look at some of the content providers like Netflix if you're looking to take advantage of this.
Okay. How about television ratings for NFL games? Down again. I guess, look, I'm linking this to the insistence of putting politics in sport, you know, taking the knee and these kind of protests. I think that's what's at stake here. Is it?
Yes.
Yes, that's...
I hear it from a lot of people. It's entertainment. They don't want to be hit with politics, and the focus on these players taking kneeling down and sitting down during the national anthem. It's terrible PR for the NFL.
The NFL is saying that storm coverage, Harvey and Irma in particular.
Last year it was the
affected
election. This year it's storm coverage. There's always going to be something.
You'll see a new excuse every single quarter.
Exactly right.
It's not an excuse. I think it did hit it.
Yeah, not an excuse.
Yeah, but
for
it's
the
not the
reason.
I think it's
main
it.
driver. It's not the main driver.
Right.
But you're just talking
The-
trend.
Look,
Okay.
it's the cord-cutting phenomenon that's the main driver. There's way more
81 million
entertainment
people.
opportunities.
81 million people going to be cord cutters in 4 years. That's a lot of people.
Not in 4 years, but
Yes, it is the estimate, 81 million. It's about 60
In
million
4
now.
Well, there you
so
go.
there's
Good
going to
luck.
be 81 million not doing cable at all. That's a big deal. They're going to be cord cutters. There are cord nevers out there.
Really?
Yeah.
81 million?
That's the
in
estimate
5 years?
in about until 2021.
Whose estimate is that?
That comes from one comes from Cowan and Company.
Emacs.
No, it's out
Just get it on
there.
the back.
Sorry, it's in the story lineup that you guys didn't read.
Okay, well, look, I find this fascinating. I really do.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a big number.
All right, I got to say thank you very much indeed to you, Brian Bremberg and Scott Martin. Good stuff today. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.